Hello and welcome everyone to the webinar Too Much Information Strategies to Discover and Manage Food Science Information. This webinar is a collaboration between IFST, the Institute of Food Science and Technology, and IFIS, the producers of FSTA. My name is René and I'm here today with my colleague Rhianna. Let's get started. What we want to cover today is what information is available. The result, information overload. What does it mean for researchers? And how to search for information. Also we want to cover, is the information reliable? We want to look at databases and Google Scholar, as well as associations, industry data and mass media, social media, mainstream and specialist, and other useful tools and information sources. There's a lot of information out there. An important area is scientific research and industry information. Under scientific research, we would cover academic journals, conference proceedings, books and multi-reference works, dissertations, datasets, monographs, and white papers. Under industry information, we would cover patents, standards, best practices, and technical reports. Academic journals are an important source of scientific information and are generally deemed to be reliable. They are a collection of articles written by experts. They can be as broad as a multidisciplinary journal plus one to journals comprehensively covering a single field like IFT's Journal of Food Science published by Wiley-Blackwell, to niche titles focused on a specific topic such as Elsevier's food packaging and shelf life. Now we want to spend a moment on peer review, which is defined as a process of evaluation involving qualified individuals within the relevant field. The effectiveness of peer review is an ongoing debate in academia, but generally the benefits of peer review are a guarantee of a level of quality, to help authors improve a paper, to judge whether a paper is suitable for the journal to which it has been submitted, and also to judge whether research is sufficiently original, provide credibility, and last but not least, remove personal bias from the decision-making process. That is, when using a blind peer review approach. Now we also want to spend a moment on open access, which is a much discussed subject and can be defined as gold open access and green open access. Gold open access is published in a fully open access journal or hybrid journal, which is a subscription journal which offers authors the option to make articles open access. Green open access is access to a free version of the article, the pre-publication version. Restrictions may apply, such as an embargo period. That very much depends on the publisher and the funding body. However, it is still important to be careful that the publication is reliable, especially with the growth of predatory open access publishing, where journals are run purely as a way of making money from author fees. Issues with these journals include little to no peer review, listing editors or editorial board members who are not actually involved with the journal to fake credibility, and using very similar names to existing reputable journals. There are a few useful things you can check to assess the journal's reliability. Was it published by a reliable publisher, association, or university? Are the editors and editorial boards credible? For open access journals, does the directory of open access journals listed at the reputable title? What do the journal metrics suggest? For example, impact factor or eigenfactor. Is it included in reputable abstracting and indexing services? for example, Thomson Reuters Science Citation Index or Social Science Citation Index, or Scopus, or subject-specific indexes such as FSTA, CAS, or BIOSIS. There are a number of free services to help you keep up to date with new published research. TikToks, for example, are a free service initially funded by JISC and partners where you can keep up to date with scholarly journal tables of contents, which includes over 26,500 journal talks from 2,715 publishers. Talk alerting services from publishers for journals and/or topics are also available from, for example, Science Direct, Springer Link, Biomed Central, MetaPress, or Highwire Press. As well as published academic research, there is a wide range of valuable information available. For example, government information, mass media content, company and user-generated content. Government information would include legislation, reports, guidelines. Mass media content would include mainstream news, specialist news. Company and user-generated content would include blogs and social media. Blogs can be a helpful way to keep up to date with issues in food. For example, our own blog, Thought for Food. The vast range of published research and information makes keeping up to date a daunting task, as demonstrated by the graph. This shows only the growth of academic journals, so when you factor in all of the other information types, it can prove difficult to locate the latest and most relevant information. What does that mean for researchers? Scientists, researchers, and students have many demands on their time. As a result, they often find themselves pressed for time, having to prioritize key journals, papers, and other information websites. However, researchers need to ensure that they do not risk missing key information. This becomes an even greater challenge when working across multiple disciplines. The key is to carefully select your sources in order to optimize the quality and quantity of the information you retrieve. As we have seen, there are many different types of publications and sources. And there are lots of ways you can find information, such as search engines and databases. They all have their own advantages and disadvantages. For example, it might be tempting to use a general search engine because it is easily available. Yet for many types of information, this will almost certainly return more results than you need. Many of these results could lead to unreliable or unsuitable resources, and you may have to spend even more time looking for the right information. Thinking about what exactly you need and where you are most likely to find it could save you time in the long run. There are some key questions to consider. What kind of information do you need? For example, do you need scientific data, up-to-date research, marketing information, company statements, current opinions, laws and regulation, or policy information? Are you interested in a specific area of research, or is it more general? Are dates important? Do you want recent research, a specific date, or all the research in a given time period? Which countries, regions, or climate zones are you interested in? In what language do you want the information to be presented? Considering these key topics helps you to choose the best place to start. For example, suppose I'm looking for up-to-date, novel scientific data in the field of food engineering. There are no geographical criteria and there only one recent research published in the last 12 months. To satisfy these needs, the most suitable publication types would be conference proceedings and journal articles. To find these, the most effective search tools would be subject-specific abstracting and indexing databases and full-text collections. Now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Rhianna.
Thanks, René. Another important consideration when researching is whether the source and information are reliable, and there are various things to look for in order to assess this. Who is responsible for the data? Are they an authoritative body as a reputable society or an academic publisher, or a subject expert? Do you know them? If not, have you heard of them, and do they have a good reputation? Who published the information? Is it a reputable publisher, a university press, a trade association, a society, a government department? Do you trust them? Is the information and research sponsored by anyone? You may need to investigate it thoroughly as it may not be obvious. Is it sponsored by a company or political organisation? And if it is, think about whether they're likely to have their own agenda. Is the information balanced? Are multiple points of view given? And if not, do they have a caveat that it's just their opinion? Is the information scientifically rigorous? Is it accurate? Is the spelling and grammar correct? Are the references credible? Is the methodology transparent and reliable? Have others cited the work? Particularly with content which isn't brand new, this can be a useful indicator. Also, consider the timeliness. Is it clear when it was published? Is the information up to date? When was it last updated? And finally, who is the target audience? Is it for the consumer, the general public, a child, a scientist, or an organisation? Is it at the right level for you and your research needs? The answers to such questions are useful pointers to help you understand the general appropriateness of the resources you are using, and so to judge their reliability. So, let's look at databases. A&I databases, also known as bibliographic databases, are an excellent starting point for scientific research, to discover what research has been carried out, where it can be found and who has written it, to search lots of different sources and publication types from one place, and to view abstracts, author and publication information for published research. Although each database operates in a slightly different way, most allow you to set up alerts, email, save and print records, filter results, for example by keyword or author name, and to refine results by including, excluding or combining data elements. Using an A&I database will deliver many benefits, including either multidiscipline or broad subject coverage of a specific topic, access to reliable information selected by experts from a wide range of sources, international coverage and often hard to find material, informative abstracts giving a summary of the research which might be all you need, links to full text, though this is dependent on setup, and consistent, comprehensive and precise indexing. This enables users to locate information based on concepts indicated by keywords, rather than relying on search terms appearing in an item. This makes it a lot more likely that the whole record will be relevant to the search query. And in a subject-specific database, the terminology for indexing is often specific to the field, enabling targeted searching. A&I databases have powerful search technology, allowing students and scientists with little or no information training to research efficiently. IFIS produced their own A&I database, FSTA. The key benefits of FSTA are its efficient search functionality to find and navigate between high-quality results of direct relevance, the comprehensive interdisciplinary research, and the drastically reduced chance of false hits for food results compared with other databases, saving the user valuable time. And why does it work so effectively? Well, every record is deep indexed using the most comprehensive food thesaurus in the world. See the example hierarchy for the keyword spirits on the right-hand side. FSTA is managed by in-house scientists applying a highly targeted content selection policy from global sources. And this is further strengthened by its interdisciplinary subject coverage of the sciences of food and health from economics to biotechnology. Now we're going to look at full-text databases and repositories. Full-text databases are platforms to find and access full-text content. Examples include JSTOR, ProQuest Dialog, and Bio1. These are often used in combination with A&I databases to benefit from specialist subject indexes. Most are subscription-based, though may contain some free content and/or offer pay-as-you-go options. Pay-as-you-go is popular in corporate organisations, which may not have the need or budget for full journal subscriptions, but may need to access scientific content on an ad hoc basis. Repositories are platforms for free full-text content available to everyone at point of access. Examples include NIH's PubMed Central, developed by the USA's National Center for Biotechnology Information, and Stanford Digital Repository. These are primarily run by funding agencies and universities to provide access to research they have funded. Depending on the funding agreement, papers may be placed immediately in the repository or following an embargo period. However, the depth of subject indexing varies, so may not produce targeted results. Google Scholar is a very common search tool for research, to which there are advantages and disadvantages. Firstly, let's look at the advantages. It is freely available and easy to use, making it a good starting point for a simple search, and very useful to people outside of universities who do not have access to subscription-based resources. Over recent years, Google Scholar has partnered with some major scientific platforms, including Web of Science, which has improved searching. It picks up a wide variety of scholarly document types, including the standard scientific content such as journals and books, but also technical reports and court opinions, for example. And it does not only pick up officially published content, but also content from professional societies, research groups, and preprint repositories. Google Scholar displays citation data for papers and authors and citation metrics such as the H-index. And it can be used to keep up to date through alerts, authors can set up profiles, and any user can save their results. However, there are some disadvantages. As Google Scholar identifies material and indexes it using automated software, content does not appear to be screened for quality, and Google Scholar is very comprehensive in some subject fields, but not all. Many results require paid access to the full text, though it is compatible with link resolver technology, which universities in particular may use so that students can easily access content to which they have a subscription. Google Scholar has limited options to refine and filter results, making it difficult to target one document type, for example. This can make it more time-consuming to identify relevant results, so it may not be ideal for precise, in-depth searches. As Google Scholar indexes papers and documents rather than journals, for example, there is no coverage list, and shorter articles such as book reviews and editorials may or may not be included. In terms of frequency, new papers are added weekly or more often. However, updates to existing records can take up to 9 months, as it relies on web pages being recrawled. So there are a lot of strengths, and Google Scholar can be a useful tool. However, there are some disadvantages which are useful to be aware of when choosing where to start. We have put together a few slides of websites and associations which you may find useful for helping to find information. For example, the Institute of Food Research based in Norwich, and FAO's search tool for UN data for food and agriculture. Example organisations include IFT, and we'll go into more detail on one of their resources on the next slide, and IFST, who produce high-quality information statements. This is just a selection of authoritative bodies, but many research institutes and academic and professional organisations have newsletters and produce papers which can be accessed from their websites. When searching for industry information, there are a number of credible sources, for example Mintel and EPO's patent database. There are a range of good quality media sites which can be useful for helping you to keep up to date with research and news. Many interpret scientific research into more accessible formats. The Conversation is a particular favourite of ours, which is very accessible and interesting. It's multidisciplinary and features articles on a wide range of scientific topics written by academics and scientists. Future Food 2050 is a publishing initiative from the IFT, through which they publish articles and interview experts and thought leaders to talk about viable solutions for food challenges. Social media can be an extremely useful tool for finding information and keeping up to date. For example, by following individuals and organisations in your chosen field. The example shown here is the Cornell Food and Brand Lab, who use social media to showcase their research projects and other third-party news. A very useful way to use Twitter is to employ hashtags to search for what people are saying on your chosen topic. The example we've shown here is dietary guidelines, which is very popular on Twitter following the publication of the new USDA guidelines, as people discussed what they would mean for consumers. You can use these to also follow events, as shown here for Food Matters Live. This can be useful if you're at the event itself, and also if you aren't able to attend but would like to see what people are saying about the hot topics or sessions. There are a number of high-quality academic and specialist social media sites, which can be useful for finding new research and making connections. For example, academia.edu for research sharing and monitoring impact, ResearchGate for sharing scientific output and expertise, and Zotero for collaboration. There are a number of useful free tools available which can be used to manage and use information. For example, SciNote for managing scientific data, Evernote and Mendeley for organising information, and Quartzy, a free lab management tool which can be used to order equipment, organise your team, book meetings, etc. Now that we've looked at different information types and how to find them, it is important to respect legal restrictions around the use of content and to check what licence is in place. These will dictate how the information can be used and also how you need to accredit it back to the author. Creative Commons is particularly complex as there are a range of licenses which dictate how the information can be used, whether it can be tweaked, whether it can be used for commercial purposes as well as non-commercial, whether it can be shared with others. At IFIS, we share food-focused research and industry news across various platforms, including white papers, the blog, and social media, on which we're very active in sharing research and information from all over the world. Thank you for joining us for this presentation today. We hope that you found it useful and interesting.